So here's one for all the Poldark fans out there. In my recent interview with Christian Brassington, I asked him the question, what was your experience like transitioning into and out of the character of Osbourne Whitworth on a physical level? Here's what he had to say.
To be honest, because I've been, that sort of size for pretty much, was it 2 years? Maybe slightly more than that, actually.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. Because in between series, I was, when we finished series 3, I was just desperate to get back down to size. And my wife was filming in Corfu, which was brilliant because I meant I could go out there and stay with her and sort of was working out in the sunshine. And then I sort of got a little bit of an injury, which meant that I couldn't work out as much as I wanted to because I was really sort of smashing it, twice a day workouts and really going for it. Mm-hmm. And in that was actually ended up being quite fortunate in that for series 4, they got me a personal trainer and a nutritionist, which meant that I was eating similar numbers of calories, or maybe slightly more actually, but in a very kind of healthy way, which was really tough work. I've got so much respect now for professional rugby players and American football players, those sorts of guys and bodybuilders who are eating that much food all the time. And obviously I wasn't doing all the cardio that a professional rugby player or American football player would be doing, but to eat all that food. So I was sort of slightly grateful I didn't lose that much in between because it would have been even harder to put it back on. But to be honest, by the time it came around to the end of series 4, I was so ready to get rid of it, really. And I think that your body, kind of knows where it wants to be. It's getting rid of the initial sort of first couple of stones was okay, really, because I just cut down my calories to a normal amount, and then I worked out twice a day, and so did a bit of fasted cardio in the morning, and then I had my interval training, my weight training in the evenings, and just sort of did that every day. Mm-hmm. It's when you've lost a big chunk of it and you've got that sort of little bit at the end. We all know that's when the difficult sort of thing
That is the hard part. I've been there myself.
That's it. When you're getting into I'm still struggling along that journey. But, that was it. So I think strangely, the toughest bit was, I didn't like being, overweight. I didn't like feeling unhealthy. But I think the hardest phase of it was, between series 3 and putting the weight back on for series 4, because you wouldn't believe the amount of food I was eating all the time, just constantly eating, and and sort of heavy stuff, sort of meat and kind of and vegetables. But you have to eat such huge quantities of vegetables to get any kind of calories in it. So I feel like the nutritionist is saying, we'll cook them in oil and then put extra olive oil on top of them to try and get your content up, and and peanut butter, but still 4,000 calories a day, man.
That's serious dedication. It's serious dedication trying to do that. And was that something which they said you had to do, or was that on you that you decided to do that?
I'll be in trouble if I say they insisted on it. They didn't insist on it. It is. The thing about him is that there's no getting away from the fact that the way the character is described is, he is overweight. He's meant to be this sort of, kind of physically repulsive man, as well as this sort of, has this slimy character as well. And I think the moment is that when I first read Debbie Horsfield's script, there were a couple of sort of slightly raunchy scenes in it. And as an actor, as soon as you've got a scene where you've got to get your top off, you instantly think, right, I've got to get in shape for this, because, there's vanity there and everything initially.
Of course, yeah.
But I remember went to the read-through of Series 3 and sort of, met everybody for the first time and said hello to a couple of mates from before. And I remember seeing all these young lads who were joining the cast. So, kind of Tom York and Harry Richardson were coming in at that time in particular. And Harry was sort of playing my love rival. And I kind of realised they were all sort of 10 years younger than me, about 2 foot taller, sort of like these walking Amazonian model men walking through the place. And I thought, and I suddenly sort of clicked to me. I thought, this is the complete wrong thing to do. You want to go in the opposite direction. And so I spoke to, I think it was Joss Agnew and Stephen Morfandom who wrote the read through, and I spoke to Debbie about it as well, and to Karen, and just sort of said, look, I think this is what I'd like to do with it. And they were supportive, mm-hmm. But there are occasional horror stories from the industry, especially young female actors being told they have to lose weight. But I think the vast majority of times, producers, directors, execs are very careful not to put any pressure on you. So it was certainly, kind of my idea, but informed by the scripts, of course.
Sure.
To do it. And I've always liked that side of things. Like I played a quarterback on stage and I really enjoyed it. And then I played this Austrian prince who was supposed to be sort of very young, and it was opposite Kate Blanchett, sort of playing Queen Elizabeth I. And he was sent over as this sort of like love match for her. And the whole gag is that he's meant to be, 30 years too young. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of tried to lose a lot of weight for that because I wanted to be this sort of very slight kind of effete, terrified little Austrian butterfly who was so overawed by this, kind of middle-aged queen.
Again, credit to you
point.
For that. That's really taking the kind of the character and really embracing the kind of physicalities of doing that. It's beyond just playing the role in terms of your acting, isn't it?
I think so. I think that it has to be a part where you're going to be doing it for a long time because it takes time to change your body in a positive or a negative way.
Sure.
So it has to be that that kind of side of things. But I quite enjoy that really. I like playing a sort of a range of characters. I like doing all those different things. So yeah, it's So I played Tony Blair, and I tried to get as skinny as possible because he was this really kind of like skinny kind of rocker type guy. And then I played Boris Johnson later on and sort of went the other way. So
Did
I had
you?
a couple of months, kind of a little time not necessarily taking such great care of myself to sort of put a bit of weight on around here and so I enjoy it. I enjoy that side of things.
Great. Oh, that's good. And how many times have you spoken with fans or seen maybe social media stuff where they cannot actually believe that they see you now, they see Ozzy from the show, and I'm sure, just from me doing the post for the questions yesterday, there's a fair few people who cannot actually believe it's you.
Well, my ego is, I'll take that as a huge compliment as an actor, but I do realise I look very, very different.
I believe handsome is the main word that's floating around.
Say again?
I said I believe handsome is the main word that's floating around.
Is it? Well, goodness, let's keep floating that around. That's a lovely thing to hear.
There we go, right.
I think there's all sorts of things. Obviously, like my hair was very long, and they kind of just sort of put so much grease on me, and they put sort of rouge on me and stuff. And obviously, I was much bigger then. It is sort of extraordinary, though. I had a conversation with my mate's mum, and she's a Poldark fan. She watches Poldark. And I had a full conversation with her, including about my character, and she had no idea.
Really?
It wasn't until her son, sort of eventually couldn't bear it any longer and butted in and said, "That's him. He plays it." And people don't believe you. I've had that. Occasionally, it'll sort of it will click, and then you sort of get it. But other people just don't believe you. They sort of look at you a bit like, "That's the weird lie to tell."
Yeah. I suppose it would be if it was a lie, but
yeah. Say you're Aidan Turner. Don't say you're that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I guess you must get quite a few kicks out of just seeing people's reactions on that.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. Although it's I did a film down in Cornwall after we finished Series 4, and I hadn't lost all the weight by that point, but I was on the way down to it, and there was some Cornwall seems to be the only place where you go down and people sort of instantly recognise you. I think they're so connected to the show down there, and I think they've got a lot of tourism that goes down there, not at the moment unfortunately, but that go down and sort of, because of the likes of Doc Martin, especially sort of Poldark, they'll go down there for that tour. Yeah. So then you suddenly have people sort of saying hello to you, and that's a bit alarming, because normally no one recognises me from it, don't know who I am.
Yeah. I suppose that's a blessing as well as a curse, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I take it as a compliment, as I say.